Alex Carter stood on the bridge of her ship, watching the stars outside. She was the captain of the Resilience, a human warship that protected the colonies in deep space. Her hands gripped the edge of the control panel as red lights flashed across every screen. Something was very wrong. "Captain, we are receiving distress signals from Nova Prime," said Kate Morgan, her first officer. Kate's voice was steady, but Alex could hear the worry underneath. Nova Prime was a large human colony on the edge of known space. 3 million people lived there, building new homes and farms far from Earth. Alex pulled up the communication feed. The voice coming through was broken and filled with static, but she could hear the fear. "This is Nova Prime. We are under attack. The Vrex are here. Repeat, the Vrex swarm is attacking the colony. We need help immediately. The Vrex swarm." Alex felt her stomach tighten. The Vrex were insect-like creatures that traveled in huge numbers. They attacked colonies, took resources, and killed anyone who stood in their way. They were one of the most dangerous threats in the galaxy. "Contact the Galactic Council Military Command," Alex ordered. "Tell them we need reinforcements at Nova Prime right now." The Galactic Council was supposed to protect all member species. Humans had joined the Council 75 years ago. They paid taxes, sent soldiers to fight in Council wars, and shared their scientific discoveries. In return, the Council promised to defend human colonies and give humans a voice in galactic affairs. But Alex knew the truth. The Council did not care much about humans. They saw humans as useful workers and soldiers, nothing more. Still, she hoped they would send help. This was a major colony with millions of lives at stake. The response came quickly. Admiral Zenthor, a tall reptilian with 6 arms, appeared on the screen. His scales were dark green and his yellow eyes looked cold and uncaring. "Captain Carter," he said in his deep voice, "your request for reinforcements has been reviewed." "Thank you, Admiral," Alex said, feeling a small amount of hope. "How soon can Council forces arrive?" Zenthor's expression did not change. "Nova Prime is outside our priority defense zones. Council resources are needed elsewhere. You are authorized to defend the colony with your own human forces. The Council will not be sending ships." Alex stared at the screen, unable to believe what she was hearing. "Admiral, there are 3 million people on that colony. We only have 12 ships in this sector. The Vrex have at least 60 vessels. We cannot win this fight alone." "Then do your best, Captain," Zenthor said. "The Council has spoken." The screen went black. For a moment, the bridge was silent. Everyone understood what this meant. The Council was abandoning Nova Prime. They were abandoning 3 million human beings to save money and resources. "Captain?" Kate asked quietly. "What are your orders?" Alex turned to face her crew. She saw Ben Taylor at the engineering station, his hands already working to prepare the ship for battle. She saw Ryan Cole at Tactical, checking weapon systems. They were good people, brave people. "They deserved better than this. We go in," Alex said firmly. "Contact every human ship in the sector. Tell them to meet us at Nova Prime. We will do everything we can." The journey to Nova Prime took 6 hours. During that time, Alex gathered her small fleet. 12 human warships against 60 Vrex vessels. The math was terrible, but there was no choice. Those were human lives down on that colony. When they arrived, the battle had already begun. Vrex ships surrounded the planet, their dark hulls blocking out the stars. The colony's defensive platforms were already damaged. Fires burned on the surface where Vrex weapons had struck cities. "All ships, this is Captain Carter." Alex spoke into the fleet channel. "Our mission is to buy time for civilian evacuation. Kate will coordinate the evacuation shuttles. We hit the Vrex hard, pull them away from the planet, then fall back. Understood?" Acknowledgements came from all 11 other captains. They knew this would be costly, but they also knew it was right. The Resilience led the charge. Alex's ship fired first, its weapons tearing into a Vrex cruiser. The alien ship's shields flashed and then broke. The cruiser exploded in a ball of fire. But the Vrex responded immediately. Dozens of enemy ships turned toward the human fleet. Energy beams and missiles filled the space between them. The human ships dodged and weaved, trying to avoid the worst of the fire. "Direct hit on the Jefferson," Ryan reported. "She is taking heavy damage." Alex watched as one of her ships took multiple hits. Its hull broke apart and escape pods launched into space. Good, she thought. At least some of the crew would survive. The battle continued for 3 brutal hours. The human ships fought with everything they had. Ben kept the Resilience running even as systems failed all around him. Kate managed to get evacuation shuttles down to the planet's surface, loading them with as many people as possible, but it was not enough. The Vrex had too many ships. One by one, human vessels fell. The Monroe was destroyed, then the Washington, then the Freedom. Each loss felt like a knife in Alex's heart. "Captain, we cannot hold much longer," Ben said from engineering. "Main power is at 30%. Weapons are failing." Alex looked at the tactical display. Only 4 human ships remained. The Vrex still had 40. The colony was lost. She had known it from the beginning, but accepting it hurt more than she expected. "All ships, this is Carter," she said. "Begin full retreat. Get your people out of here." The surviving ships turned and ran. The Resilients took rear position, covering the others as they fled. Vrex weapons continued to hammer at her shields, but Ben somehow kept the ship together. They jumped to faster-than-light speed just as the shields finally failed. Behind them, Nova Prime burned. The Resilients limped back to the nearest human station. Its cargo holds were packed with refugees. 15,000 people had been saved, but 2.7 million had been left behind. Killed or captured by the Vrex, Alex stood in the cargo bay looking at the survivors. They sat on the floor holding their children, crying for lost family members. These people had trusted the Galactic Council to protect them. That trust had been betrayed. A young girl, maybe 7 years old, walked up to Alex. Her face was dirty, and her eyes were red from crying. "Are you the captain?" she asked. "Yes," Alex said gently, kneeling down to the girl's level. "My mom said you would save us," the girl said, "but we had to leave my dad behind." "Will the council save him?" Alex felt tears forming in her own eyes. She wanted to lie to give this child hope, but she could not. "I don't know," she said quietly. "I'm sorry." The girl nodded and walked back to her mother. Alex stood up slowly, her hands shaking. In that moment, something changed inside her. The anger she had always kept controlled began to burn hotter. Alex traveled to the Galactic Council headquarters 2 weeks later. The headquarters was a massive space station orbiting Centrum Prime, the capital world of the galaxy. The station was beautiful, built from crystal and metal that sparkled in the light of the nearby star. She walked through the grand halls, passing aliens of every shape and size. Some had multiple arms, others had wings or tails. They wore expensive clothes and talked about trade agreements and political alliances. None of them seemed to care about what had happened at Nova Prime. Ambassador Claire Hoffman met Alex outside the council chamber. Claire was older, with gray hair and tired eyes. She had represented humanity on the council for 20 years. "They scheduled the hearing for today," Claire said. "But I need to warn you, Alex, they will not give you what you want." "I want justice," Alex said. 3 million people are dead because the council refused to help. Someone needs to answer for that. Claire shook her head sadly. "This is not the first time, Alex. Over the past 20 years, 17 human colonies have been abandoned like this. The council does not see us as equals. They see us as tools to be used and thrown away." "Then why do we stay?" Alex demanded. "Because leaving means economic collapse," Claire explained. "The council controls all the trade routes. They control access to advanced technology. Without them, humanity would be isolated and poor. Or at least that is what our politicians believe." The council chamber was enormous. Thousands of seats rose up in circles, each one holding a representative from a different species. At the center was the chairman's platform where Vexal floated. Vexal was an energy being, a creature of pure light that shifted between different colors. Alex stepped forward to speak. She presented her report on Nova Prime, showing footage from the battle and reading the names of the dead. It took almost an hour to read all the names. When she finished, the chamber was quiet for a moment. Then Chairman Vexal spoke, his voice echoing through the room. "The Council acknowledges the tragedy at Nova Prime. However, military resources must be allocated based on strategic importance. Nova Prime was not designated as a priority location. 3 million lives," Alex said, her voice shaking with anger. "That is what you call not important?" "All life has value," Vexal replied. "But the Council must consider the greater good. We cannot save every colony. Choices must be made." Admiral Zenthor stood up from his seat. "Captain Carter, your emotional response is understandable but inappropriate. You are a military officer. You should understand strategic necessity." Alex Carter stood in the war room deep beneath Earth's surface. Around the table sat the most powerful people in human government and military. President Nathan Blake looked tired. The weight of leading humanity through this crisis showed on his face. "The Council has made their position clear," Nathan said. "They will not change. The question is, what do we do now?" "We leave the Council," someone suggested. "We declare independence. That would destroy our economy," another voice argued. "The Council controls all major trade routes. We depend on galactic commerce for essential resources." General Victoria Hayes stood up. She was a tall woman with sharp eyes and gray hair pulled back in a tight bun. She had commanded Earth's military forces for 10 years. "We have another option," she said. Victoria pressed a button and a holographic display appeared above the table. It showed dozens of ship designs, weapon systems, and technology blueprints. "For the past 15 years, we have been preparing for this moment. Project Sentinel." Everyone leaned forward to look. Alex felt her breath catch. The designs showed ships unlike anything the Council possessed. They were sleek, powerful, and advanced. "We knew the Council could not be trusted," Victoria continued. "So we prepared. Hidden shipyards throughout human space have been building a fleet. We have 300 warships ready for deployment, with crews trained in secret. We have new weapons, new shields, and new technology the Council has never seen." President Nathan looked shocked. 300 ships? How did we keep this hidden?" "Black budget operations," Victoria explained. "Private military contractors. Hidden facilities on remote asteroids. The Council was too busy looking down on us to notice what we were doing in the shadows." Alex studied the ship designs. They were impressive, but 300 ships would not be enough to fight the entire Galactic Council. "Even with these ships, we are outnumbered. The Council has thousands of vessels. That is why we need allies," Victoria said. "Captain Carter, I have a new mission for you. Find the other species that the Council has abandoned. Unite them under human leadership. Build a coalition." Alex nodded slowly. It made sense. Humanity was not the only species that the Council had mistreated. There were others, many others who had suffered similar injustices. Over the next 6 months, Alex traveled across the galaxy. Kate Morgan accompanied her, along with Marcus Chen, a skilled diplomat who knew how to talk to different cultures. They visited world after world, meeting with leaders of species that most Council members had forgotten. The Saurians were the first to join. They were a reptilian species that lived on hot desert worlds. For decades, the Council had mined their planets for rare minerals, taking everything and leaving the Saurians with polluted land and empty promises of compensation. Alex met with Chief Karn, the leader of the largest Saurian clan. He was old, his scales faded and scarred from years of hard labor in the mines. "Why should we trust humans?" he asked. "You are part of the Council too." "Not anymore," Alex said. "We are leaving the Council, but we will not do it alone. Join us. Together we can build something better." She showed him the evidence of what had happened at Nova Prime. She showed him the Council's dismissal of human suffering. Karn studied the footage for a long time. Finally, he nodded. "The Saurians will join your alliance." Next came the Vulcans, a warrior species with thick armored skin and incredible strength. The Council had used them as frontline troops in countless wars. Thousands of Vulcan soldiers had died fighting for Council interests. But when the wars ended, the Council abandoned the survivors without pensions or medical care. War leader Terra met with Alex in a training ground. The Vulcans believed in testing strength before making alliances. Terra challenged Alex to single combat. It was not meant to be deadly, just a test of courage and skill. Alex accepted. She knew she could not win against a Vulcan in pure strength. But she was fast and clever. The fight lasted 15 minutes. Alex dodged and weaved, landing quick strikes while avoiding Terra's powerful blows. Eventually, Terra called a halt. "You fight with honor," Terra said, breathing hard. "You do not surrender even when outmatched. The Vulcans respect this. We will join you." The Talari were different. They were a species of telepaths able to read thoughts and emotions. The Council had experimented on them, trying to weaponize their abilities. Many Talari had been damaged or driven insane by the experiments. Speaking with the Talari was strange. Their representative, a being named Shen, communicated through mental images rather than words. Alex felt Shen's presence in her mind, gentle but powerful. Shen sensed Alex's true emotions. The anger, the pain, the determination to make things right. After a long moment of silence, Shen spoke aloud. "We see your truth. Humans have suffered as we have suffered. We will stand with you." Species after species joined the alliance. The Kryn merchant guilds, who had been economically exploited by unfair trade laws. The Orcs and explorers, whose discoveries had been stolen by council scientists. The Hyven engineers, who had built council stations without receiving proper payment. Each had a story of betrayal and abandonment. Marcus worked tirelessly to write agreements that treated everyone fairly. The Alliance would not have a single leader but a council where every species had equal voice. Decisions would be made by majority vote. Military resources would be shared, and technology would be freely exchanged. By the end of 6 months, 23 species had joined what they called the Independent Systems Alliance. It was not large compared to the Galactic Council, but it was committed and united by common cause. While Alex built the political coalition, other humans worked on the technological advantage. Dr. Lisa Park was a physicist who had studied faster-than-light travel for her entire career. She had always believed that the Council's hyperlane network was inefficient and outdated. Working in a secret laboratory on the dark side of Earth's moon, Lisa and her team made a breakthrough. They developed quantum displacement drives, a completely new way to travel faster than light. Ships with these drives could go anywhere without using the Council's controlled hyperlanes. This changes everything, Lisa explained to Alex during a video call. The Council maintains power partly because they control the hyperlanes. Any ship wanting to travel quickly must use their network and pay their fees. But with quantum drives, we are free. We can go anywhere, anytime. How fast can we install these on our ships? Alex asked. The entire human fleet can be retrofitted in 3 months, Lisa said. And we can share the technology with our allies. There was more. Commander Ryan Cole had been working on artificial intelligence for combat systems. The Council banned advanced AI, fearing it would become uncontrollable. But Ryan had developed a different approach. His AI systems did not replace human judgment. They enhanced it. Think of it like this, Ryan explained. A human pilot can track maybe 10 enemy ships at once. Our AI can track 1,000. It calculates optimal firing solutions, predicts enemy movements, and coordinates with other ships in real time. The human commander still makes all the important decisions, but they have perfect information to work with. Alex tested the system herself. It was incredible. When she sat in the captain's chair with the AI active, she felt like she could see the entire battlefield at once. Every threat was highlighted. Every opportunity was clear. It was like having 100 tactical officers all feeding her information simultaneously. The technology gave humanity and its allies a real chance. But would it be enough? There was only one way to find out. The test came sooner than expected. The Vrek swarm attacked another human colony, Frontier Station 7. It was a mining outpost with 50,000 people. The attack followed the same pattern as Nova Prime, sudden, brutal, overwhelming force. This time, Alex was ready. She had been waiting for this moment. All ships, this is Captain Carter, she broadcast to the newly formed human fleet. We have a Vrex incursion at Frontier 7. This is not a rescue mission. This is a statement. We are showing the galaxy that humanity will not be pushed around anymore. 30 human warships, all equipped with quantum drives and AI combat systems, appeared in the Frontier 7 system within minutes. The Vrex had brought 50 vessels, expecting another easy victory. They were wrong. The battle was nothing like Nova Prime. Human ships moved faster than anything the Vrex had seen. They appeared, fired, and vanished before the Vrex could target them. The AI systems coordinated attacks perfectly, with multiple ships hitting the same target simultaneously. Ben Taylor monitored the engagement from the Resilience's engineering station. All systems operating at peak efficiency, he reported. The quantum drives are performing beyond expectations. Kate Morgan coordinated the fleet from her tactical station. Vrex formation is breaking apart. They cannot adapt to our speed advantage. 17 enemy ships destroyed, 0 human casualties. The battle lasted 2 hours. When it ended, the entire Vrex fleet was destroyed. Not a single human ship was lost. Not one colonist on Frontier 7 was harmed. Alex stood on the bridge looking at the wreckage floating in space. This was what humanity could do when properly equipped and prepared. This was what the Council had always feared. News of the victory spread quickly through galactic communication networks. Other species took notice. The Council could no longer dismiss. The summons arrived 3 months after Frontier 7. Chairman Vexall demanded that Ambassador Claire Hoffman and Captain Alex Carter appear before the Galactic Council to answer for humanity's actions. The message called it a tribunal, but everyone knew it was a show trial designed to humiliate humanity into submission. Alex and Claire traveled to the Council headquarters together. As their shuttle approached the massive space station, Claire spoke quietly. "They are afraid, you know. That is why they are doing this. The Council has maintained power for 10,000 years by controlling everything. Now they see humanity breaking free and it terrifies them." "Good," Alex said. "They should be afraid." The tribunal chamber was packed. Thousands of council members filled the seats, representing hundreds of species. Their voices created a constant buzzing sound as they talked among themselves. At the center, Chairman Vexall floated on his platform, his energy form shifting between blue and purple. Alex walked to the speaker's position with Claire and Marcus Chen. Behind them stood representatives from the Independent Systems Alliance, Chief Karn, War Leader Terra, Shen of the Talari, and leaders from 20 other species. The chamber fell silent as Chairman Vexall began to speak. "Humanity stands accused of serious violations of galactic law. You have developed weapons without council oversight. You have formed unauthorized military alliances. You have engaged in combat operations without permission. How do you answer these charges?" Before Claire could respond, Admiral Zenthor stood up. The reptilian commander pointed one of his 6 arms at Alex. "This human destroyed an entire Vrex fleet at Frontier 7. She did not seek council authorization. She did not report to council command. She acted as if human forces answer to no one but themselves." "The Vrex were attacking a human colony," Alex said calmly, "just like they attacked Nova Prime. I did what you refused to do. I protected my people." "You exceeded your authority," Zenthor shot back. "Military action requires council approval. You have violated the fundamental rules that maintain galactic order." Claire stepped forward. Her voice was strong and clear. "The council speaks of rules and order. Let me present evidence of how the council has followed its own rules regarding humanity." She activated a holographic display. Images appeared showing the 17 human colonies that had been abandoned over the past 20 years. Each image showed the devastation: burned cities, destroyed homes, memorial walls listing thousands of names. Nova Prime, New Melbourne, Frontier Station 3, Armstrong Colony. Each of these places requested council protection. Each request was denied. 3.8 million human beings died because the council considered them not worth saving. Claire showed more evidence. Economic reports showing how council trade laws favored certain species while exploiting others. Military records showing human soldiers used as frontline troops with casualty rates 3 times higher than any other species. Scientific journals where human discoveries were credited to council researchers. For 75 years, humanity has contributed everything asked of us. Claire continued. We paid our taxes. We sent our children to fight in your wars. We shared our knowledge. And what did we receive? Contempt, dismissal, abandonment. The chamber erupted in noise. Some council members shouted denials. Others argued among themselves. Chairman Vexall raised his hands and the room slowly quieted. The council acknowledges past difficulties, Vexall said. However, every species must accept its role within the galactic community. Some species lead, others follow. This is natural order. Humanity must understand its place. Our place? Alex asked, her voice rising. You mean as expendable labor and cannon fodder? That is not a place we accept anymore. Admiral Zenthor spoke again. The council has been patient with human complaints. But this ends now. You will surrender all advanced technology to council oversight. You will disband your illegal alliance. You will submit to council military command. If you refuse, the council will impose economic sanctions and designate human space as a restricted zone. You are threatening us? Marcus asked. We are offering you a choice, Zenthor said coldly. Submit or be isolated. Those are your options. At that moment, an urgent message came through on Alex's communication device. She read it quickly, and her face went pale. She handed the device to Claire, who read it and closed her eyes in pain. What is it? Chairman Vexall demanded. Alex looked up at the council. New Haven Colony is under attack. The Vrex swarm has launched a full assault. 400,000 people are in danger. I am requesting permission to deploy human forces immediately. Vexall consulted with other council leaders. The whispered conversation seemed to last forever. Finally, he spoke. New Haven is located in disputed territory. The Council will handle the situation. Human forces are not authorized to intervene. Then send Council forces, Alex said urgently. Send them now. Council forces will be dispatched when appropriate, Vexal said. This tribunal will now continue. Ambassador Hoffman, you will address the charges against humanity. Alex stood frozen, unable to believe what she was hearing. 400,000 people were dying, and the Council wanted to continue talking about rules and regulations. She checked her device again. More messages were coming through. New Haven shields failing. Vrex forces landing. Heavy casualties. Please send help. Alex looked at the Council. She looked at Admiral Zenthor's cold face. She looked at Chairman Vexal's shifting light. In that moment, she understood that nothing would ever change. The Council would always see humanity as lesser. They would always abandon human colonies when it suited them. Send Council forces to New Haven, Alex repeated. Please. In due time, Vexal said dismissively. Now let us return to the matter at hand. Hours passed. The tribunal continued. Council members gave long speeches about law and order. They talked about the importance of following proper procedures. They debated the exact wording of regulations. And while they talked, New Haven burned. Alex received updates every few minutes. The messages became more desperate. Evacuation centers overrun. Hospitals destroyed. No sign of Council forces. Where is our help? She tried to speak several times, but the Council would not let her interrupt. They were too busy discussing humanity's violations and deciding on appropriate punishments. Finally, 6 hours after the first distress call, a new message arrived. Alex read it and something inside her broke. The message was from a survivor on a damaged shuttle escaping New Haven. Colony is lost. Vrex have taken control. Estimated 400,000 dead. No Council ships ever arrived. Alex stood up, interrupting a Council member's speech about proper military protocols. Her voice cut through the chamber like a knife. 400,000 people are dead. They called for help. You promised to send Council forces. You lied. Chairman Vexal turned his attention to her. Captain Carter, you are out of order. Sit down. No, Alex said. I will not sit down. I will not be quiet. You let those people die while we sat here debating nonsense. This is exactly what happened at Nova Prime. You could have saved them. You chose not to. The situation at New Haven was complicated, Admiral Zenthor said. Strategic considerations required careful evaluation. 400,000 lives, Alex repeated. That is all you needed to evaluate. But you do not value human lives. You never have. The chamber exploded with noise. Council members shouted at Alex. Some defended the Council's actions. Others demanded she be arrested for insubordination. Alex waited for the noise to die down. Then she spoke in a clear, cold voice that carried through the entire chamber. Humanity will no longer accept Council authority. The Independent Systems Alliance declares its sovereignty over all member territories. You have 30 days to withdraw all Council personnel and assets from our space. The chamber fell into shocked silence. Chairman Vexal stared at her. You cannot be serious. I am completely serious, Alex said. She pulled out a document that Marcus had prepared. These are our formal demands. Recognition of the Independent Systems Alliance as a sovereign entity. Reparations for all abandoned colonies. Access to independent trade routes. Immediate cessation of hostilities against Alliance territories. And prosecution of Council officials responsible for war crimes against humanity and other species. Admiral Zenthor laughed. It was a harsh, mocking sound. This is absurd. You have a few hundred ships. The Council has thousands. You demand reparations? You demand prosecutions? You have no power here. Alex looked directly at the Admiral. We have 300 warships equipped with technology you have never seen. We have quantum displacement drives that let us travel anywhere without your controlled hyperlanes. We have AI combat systems that make our ships 10 times more effective than yours. We have trained crews and experienced commanders. And most importantly, we have something you lack, the absolute determination to fight for our freedom. Are you threatening the Council? Vexal asked. I am giving you a choice, Alex said, using Zenthor's own words. Accept our independence and negotiate fair terms, or force us to take what should have been given freely. You have 30 days to decide. Claire stepped forward and placed a formal declaration on the Council records. Marcus distributed copies to all Council members. Behind Alex. Under his command, 2,000 warships stretched out in perfect formation. 40 different species had contributed vessels to this armada. It was the largest military force ever assembled in galactic history. The human rebels have 300 ships, Zenthor said to his officers. We have 2,000. This will be over quickly. The humans will learn that rebellion against the Council ends only one way. The fleet moved toward the border of Alliance space. Zenthor expected to find human defenses concentrated around major colonies and stations. He planned to overwhelm them with superior numbers, break their resistance, and force surrender. But when the Council fleet entered the Epsilon sector, they found nothing. The space was empty. No human ships, no defensive platforms, no sign of preparation. Where are they? An officer asked. Hiding, Zenthor said with contempt. They know they cannot win. Search the nearby systems. Find them. The Council fleet spread out to search. That was when the attack began. Human ships appeared from nowhere. One moment the space was empty. The next moment 30 human warships materialized around the Council fleet. They fired immediately, targeting command ships and support vessels with precision strikes. Before the Council ships could respond, the human vessels vanished again, their quantum drives letting them disappear as quickly as they had arrived. The entire attack lasted less than 3 minutes. 6 Council ships were destroyed, including 2 cruisers carrying fleet commanders. What just happened? Zenthor demanded.
How did they move that fast?
No one had answers. The Council fleet tried to regroup, but the attacks continued. Human ships would appear, strike specific targets, and vanish before taking return fire. They hit supply convoys, destroyed communication relays, and targeted isolated vessels. On the Resilience, Alex watched the tactical display with satisfaction. How are our losses? She asked Kate. 0 casualties, Kate reported. We have destroyed 43 Council ships without taking a single hit. Their formation is falling apart. They cannot adapt to our quantum drives. Ryan Cole monitored the AI combat systems. The coordination is perfect. Every ship knows exactly where to hit and when to retreat. The Council fleet is too slow to respond. Ben Taylor worked in engineering, keeping the quantum drives operating at peak efficiency. Captain, these drives are performing better than expected. We can keep this up for days if needed. The hit-and-run campaign continued for 3 days. The Council fleet lost 400 ships. Admiral Zenthor finally ordered a retreat to regroup and develop new tactics. In the Council headquarters, Chairman Vexal was furious. How can 300 human ships defeat 2,000 Council vessels? They have technology we did not anticipate, Zenthor admitted. These quantum drives let them control every engagement. They only fight when conditions favor them. Then adapt, Vexal ordered. Find a way to counter their advantage. But adapting was not easy. The Council fleet was built for traditional warfare, not this new style of combat. Their ships were slower, their coordination was poor, and their commanders were trained for battles that followed predictable patterns. Alex decided to take an even bigger risk. Instead of waiting for the Council to attack again, she would take the war directly to them. All commanders, this is Captain Carter, she broadcast to the Alliance fleet. We are going to Centrum Prime. There was a moment of stunned silence. Centrum Prime was the Council's capital world, the most heavily defended location in the galaxy. No one had ever attacked it successfully. Are you certain about this? General Victoria asked over a secure channel from Earth. The Council thinks we are raiders hiding in the shadows, Alex explained. We need to show them we can strike anywhere, even at their heart. This is not about destroying the planet. This is about proving they are vulnerable. The Alliance fleet used their quantum drives to bypass all Council defenses. They appeared in orbit above Centrum Prime without warning. The planet's defense systems activated immediately, but the human ships moved too fast to target effectively. Alex gave specific orders. No attacks on the planet's surface. We target only military installations in orbit. Disable the defense platforms and communication arrays. Make it clear we could destroy everything if we wanted to, but we choose not to. The battle was one-sided. Human weapons took apart the orbital defenses piece by piece. Saurian cruisers disabled the shield generators. Vulcan battleships destroyed the weapons platforms. Talari ships jammed all communications. Within 2 hours, Centrum Prime was defenseless. The Alliance fleet controlled the orbit completely. Every Council member on the planet could look up and see human ships in their sky. Alex opened a communication channel that broadcast to every device on the planet and throughout the entire galaxy. Her face appeared on billions of screens. People of the galaxy, I am Captain Alex Carter of humanity. We are here in Centrum Prime's orbit to deliver a message. For 10,000 years, the Galactic Council has maintained power through control and intimidation. They have told you this is necessary for galactic peace. Today, we show you the truth. She displayed the evidence that Ambassador Claire had gathered over decades. Documents showing how the Council manipulated smaller species, records of abandoned colonies from dozens of races, proof of economic exploitation, military abuse, and scientific theft. The Council claims to protect you, but they only protect their own power. They claim to be fair, but they favor certain species while exploiting others. They claim to value all life, but they abandon millions when it suits their interests. We have the proof. Judge for yourselves. The broadcast caused chaos throughout the galaxy. On thousands of worlds, people watched the evidence and began asking questions. Why had their colonies been abandoned? Why were their trade agreements so unfair? Why did Council justice favor the powerful? Protests erupted on Council worlds. Species that had always supported the Council began demanding explanations. The carefully maintained image of galactic unity started to crack. Admiral Zenthor received emergency orders from Chairman Vexal. Retake Centrum Prime immediately. Use whatever force necessary. We cannot allow this humiliation to continue. Zenthor gathered his remaining 1,600 ships and rushed to Centrum Prime. He did not plan carefully. He did not consider tactics. He simply charged forward with overwhelming force, determined to crush the human rebellion once and for all. The battle that followed was the largest space engagement in galactic history. 1,600 Council ships against 300 Alliance vessels and their supporting forces from 23 species. But numbers alone were not enough. The Alliance fleet had better technology, better coordination, and better leadership. Human quantum drives let them control the battle space. AI systems gave them perfect tactical awareness. And the crews fought with the determination of people defending their freedom. Alex commanded from the Resilience, her voice calm and steady, even as hundreds of ships exchanged fire around her. All units focus on their command vessels. Break their coordination. Use the quantum drives to stay mobile. Do not let them pin us down. Kate coordinated the fleet movements, directing ships to where they were needed most. Enemy cruiser wing trying to flank us. Sending Saurian squadron to intercept. Vulcan battle group moving to support the center line. Ryan's AI systems processed thousands of data points every second, identifying threats and opportunities faster than any organic mind could manage. Target priority update. Admiral Zenthor's flagship detected in Sector 4. Vulnerable to concentrated fire. Alex made the decision immediately. All available ships target the flagship. End this now. 20 human warships appeared around Zenthor's vessel simultaneously. Their weapons fired in perfect synchronization, overwhelming the flagship's shields in seconds. The massive ship broke apart, taking the Admiral with it. With their commander dead and their coordination shattered, the Council fleet began to fall apart. Some ships tried to continue fighting. Others retreated. Many simply shut down, their crews too shocked to respond. The battle lasted 48 hours. When it ended, the Council fleet was destroyed. Only 200 Council ships escaped. The Alliance had lost 30 vessels, a heavy price but far less than anyone had expected. Alex stood on the bridge of the Resilience, looking at the wreckage floating in space. So many lives lost, so much destruction, but it had been necessary. The Council would never have changed peacefully. Captain, we are receiving a message from the Council headquarters, Kate reported. They want to negotiate. Tell them we will talk, Alex said. But only on our terms. While peace talks began, Dr. Lisa Park made another discovery. She had been given access to Council data archives after the battle. What she found changed everything. Alex, you need to see this, Lisa said over a video call. Her face was pale. The Council knew about human potential from the very beginning. They had studies, projections, everything. They knew that if humanity developed freely, we would eventually challenge their dominance. What are you saying? Alex asked. Everything that happened to us was deliberate, Lisa explained. The abandoned colonies, the unfair trade agreements, the dangerous military assignments. It was all designed to keep humanity weak and dependent. They were afraid of us, so they tried to suppress us. Alex felt anger rising again. Show me the evidence. 3 months after the fall of the Galactic Council, Alex Carter walked through the streets of Geneva on Earth. The city was preparing for something historic. Representatives from 320 species were arriving for what they called the Galactic Founding Convention. The goal was ambitious: create a new galactic government that would truly represent all species fairly. It sounded simple, but Alex knew it would be incredibly difficult. 10,000 years of council rule had created deep divisions and old wounds that would not heal quickly. "Are you nervous?" Kate Morgan asked, walking beside her. "Terrified," Alex admitted. Fighting the council was easier than this. In war, you know who the enemy is. In politics, everyone smiles while plotting against each other. Kate laughed. "That is why you have Claire. She understands politics better than anyone." Ambassador Claire Hoffman had indeed been busy. Over the past 3 months, she had traveled to hundreds of worlds, listening to concerns and building trust. She understood that many species feared humanity would simply replace the Council as the new dominant power. "We need to prove our intentions through our actions," Claire had said during planning meetings. "Words are cheap. We must show that we mean what we say about equality." One of the first things humanity did was share technology freely. Dr. Lisa Park opened her research to all species. The quantum displacement drives, the AI combat systems, the advanced manufacturing techniques, everything was made available without cost or restrictions. Some human leaders had objected. "This technology gives us an advantage," they argued. "Why give it away?" "Because keeping it creates the same power imbalance we fought to destroy," Lisa explained. "If we want true equality, we must be willing to give up our advantages." The gesture had a powerful effect. Species that had been skeptical of human intentions began to reconsider. If humanity was willing to share their most valuable assets, perhaps they really did want partnership rather than dominance. The convention began on a bright morning in May. The main hall was enormous, designed to hold thousands of delegates. Each species had a designated area with translation systems and environmental controls suited to their needs. President Nathan Blake opened the convention with a simple speech. "We are here to build something new. Not a council that rules from above, but a federation that serves from within. Every species here has equal voice. Every concern will be heard. This will take time, possibly years, but we will get it right." The debates that followed were intense. Every aspect of galactic governance had to be discussed. How would decisions be made? How would resources be shared? How would disputes be resolved? What role would military forces play? Marcus Chen led many of these discussions. His diplomatic skills were essential in finding compromises that satisfied different groups. When species disagreed about voting systems, he proposed a hybrid approach. When economic concerns arose, he helped develop fair trade frameworks. General Victoria Hayes presented a proposal for collective defense. "No single species should control all military power," she explained. "The Federation Defense Force will be voluntary. Every species contributes what they can. Command rotates between species, and most importantly, the military answers to the civilian government, not the other way around." Some species worried about smaller civilizations being overwhelmed. A representative from the Kryn merchant guilds raised this concern. "What stops larger species from dominating decisions through sheer numbers?" Claire had anticipated this question. "We propose a dual system. A general assembly where every species has equal representation regardless of size, and a population council where voting weight reflects actual numbers. Major decisions require approval from both bodies. This protects both minority rights and majority will." The debates continued for months. There were disagreements, arguments, and moments when it seemed the convention might fall apart. But slowly, through patience and compromise, a framework emerged. The Galactic Federation Charter included protections for individual rights, guidelines for trade and commerce, rules for settling disputes, and limits on government power. Most importantly, it included mechanisms for peaceful change. If something was not working, it could be amended through democratic process. Alex watched the final drafting sessions with a sense of wonder. This document represented something remarkable. Not a perfect system, no system was perfect, but one that gave everyone a chance to be heard and protected basic freedoms for all. The day of the final vote arrived. The convention hall was completely silent as delegates prepared to cast their decisions. This was the moment that would determine the galaxy's future. One by one, species representatives stood and declared their position. The Saurians voted yes. The Vulcans voted yes. The Talari voted yes. Species after species supported the charter. When the counting finished, the results were announced. 297 species voted in favor, 23 abstained, wanting more time to consider, 0 voted against. The hall erupted in celebration. Delegates from different species embraced each other. Some cried with joy, others stood quietly, overwhelmed by what they had accomplished together. Alex felt tears running down her own face. She thought about everyone who had died to make this moment possible, the millions lost at Nova Prime and New Haven, the soldiers who fell in the war against the Council. They had paid the price for this freedom. Kate put a hand on her shoulder. "We did it," she said simply. "They did it," Alex corrected, gesturing to all the delegates in the hall. "We just gave them the chance." The first Galactic Federation Council was elected 3 months later. President Nathan was chosen as the first chancellor, but his term was limited to 4 years. After that, leadership would pass to a representative from another species. This rotation ensured no single group could dominate indefinitely. Claire became the Federation's chief diplomat, working to bring more species into the fold. Her experience and wisdom made her perfect for the role. She traveled constantly, meeting with civilizations that had not yet joined and helping to resolve disputes between member species. General Victoria took command of the Federation Defense Force. She worked to integrate military forces from dozens of species into a cohesive organization. It was challenging work, but Victoria was patient and fair. Slowly, the different militaries learned to work together effectively. Dr. Lisa directed the Federation Science Initiative. Scientists from hundreds of worlds collaborated on projects that benefited everyone: medical research, environmental restoration, energy development. The pace of discovery accelerated dramatically when knowledge was shared freely. Alex was offered the position of Supreme Military Commander. Many people expected her to accept. She had led the war effort, commanded respect from all species, and understood strategy better than almost anyone. But Alex declined. "I have been fighting for too long," she told President Nathan. "I need to do something else now." Instead, Alex returned to the Resilience. The ship was recommissioned as a Federation exploration vessel. Its mission was to discover new worlds, make first contact with unknown species, and bring them peacefully into the Federation. Kate, Ben, and Ryan joined her. They had been through so much together. It felt right to continue as a team, exploring rather than fighting. "Where do we go first?" Ben asked as the Resilience prepared to depart. "Out there," Alex said, pointing at the stars visible through the viewport. "There are thousands of civilizations we have never met. Let us go find them and invite them to join something better than what came before." 5 years later, the Galactic Federation had grown to include over 400 species. Trade flourished throughout the galaxy. Scientific knowledge advanced rapidly. Wars became rare as disputes were settled through negotiation rather than violence. On Earth, memorials were built to honor those who had died in the struggle. Nova Prime and New Haven were rebuilt as memorial worlds. Their names would never be forgotten. They represented the cost of freedom and the price of standing against injustice. Children across the galaxy learned about the human ultimatum in their schools. But teachers emphasized the full story. Yes, humanity had fought bravely, but they had also chosen mercy over vengeance. They had built rather than dominated. They had shared rather than hoarded. The lesson was clear. Strength without principle is tyranny, but principle backed by strength can change the universe. Alex stood on the observation deck of the Resilience, looking at a planet they had just discovered. The world was beautiful, covered in blue oceans and green continents. Initial scans showed cities and technology. This was a civilization ready for first contact. "How do you want to approach this?" Kate asked. "Carefully," Alex said. "We send a greeting. We explain who we are and what the Federation represents. We offer friendship with no strings attached. And most importantly, we give them a choice. They can join us or not, as they prefer." "That is very different from how the old council operated," Ryan noted. "That is exactly the point," Alex said. "We learned the hard way what happens when a government stops serving its people. We will never forget that lesson." The greeting was sent. While waiting for a response, Alex thought about how far humanity had come. 75 years ago, they had joined the Galactic Council as a minor species, hoping for acceptance. They had been exploited, abandoned, and dismissed, but they had not accepted that fate. When pushed too far,